let's turn our attention to utilities, specifically Eskom. It has won a constitutional court case earlier today to dismiss the application by Westinghouse to review the award of a tender for the replacement of 6 steam generators at the Koeberg Nuclear Power Station. A French company, Areva, is currently building the replacement reactors in France. This comes in the wake of a Supreme Court of Appeal judgment that had set aside that contract that was awarded to Areva, declaring it to be unlawful, and it had ordered that it be remitted back to Eskom for reconsideration. Westinghouse now has to pay Areva's costs in that particular constitutional court suit, and also the Supreme Court of Appeal one, including the costs of 2 counsel. The contract award was the biggest that has ever been disputed in a court of law in South Africa, worth over $300 million. Angela Koeberg joins me now live from Johannesburg with a lot more data on this story. Angela, this judgment is really based on a technicality that it's Westinghouse USA, not its Belgian subsidiary, that should have brought this case. That being the case, will Westinghouse USA file a fresh suit, or is this the end of the road for them? Are they done trying to litigate this?
Well, we're waiting for Westinghouse US to actually formally react to the ruling. The South African operations are closed at the moment because it's traditional construction industry holidays, so there's no reaction locally yet. But an analyst says that despite all the noise and side issues, the reality is that this court judgment today is very significant and a timeless victory for Eskom. On a legal level, the Constitutional Court is seen as the court of final instance, and there can be no appeal on this particular case. Whether Westinghouse has or wants to try another angle or approach, or has the appetite to pursue this any further, of course we'll have to wait for Westinghouse to respond. But at the moment it looks like it's a done deal. Raman? A
done deal indeed. The Deputy Chief Justice, though, did file a dissenting opinion in this case. What are his reasons for doing so?
Now, Raman, I'm going to stick to the legalese here so I don't get it wrong. Moseneke and Bosilo, which were the 2 judges that had the minority ruling, held that Westinghouse Belgium had a direct and substantial interest under the common law and standing conferred to it by Section 38 of the Constitution, brought about by a Section 33 right to just administrative action. They're relying here on another case, that of Giant Concerts, and Moseneke and Bosile are saying that the minority judgment held that it was not in the interest of justice for a court of final instance to dispose of a matter of this constitutional magnitude, commercial import and high public interest, merely by way of a technical bar of a lack of standing. So the legalese is there. I wanted to make sure that it's understood, but basically that's the basis for it. It's of major import. Raman?
Indeed. Let's talk about the wider nuclear power program in South Africa, though. Eskom has put out requests for information for the near 10 gigawatts or so of new nuclear power plants that have been on the cards for a while now. But why are these being issued now, when the latest draft of the country's energy plan has pushed back the date for nuclear power all the way to 2037? And even then, the beginning capacity is relatively small. It's about 1.4 gigawatts.
Well, that still remains unclear at this time. Opponents also don't understand the haste. Eskom says that they want to plan ahead and they want to plan properly. The Eskom spokesperson I spoke to says it's merely a request for information to test the waters, to see who's out there and what the projected cost could be for what's on the table. He couldn't explain the haste, and bear in mind that there's still a public consultation process underway on the subject. But there is a clue, though. In a statement issued yesterday, it seems that the utility will use the information it's going to gather from this RFI process to supplement Eskom's response to the current draft IRP 2016. So I'm not sure how the nuclear construction industry are going to respond to that admission, Rama.
Indeed, we'll leave it there for the time being. With all the noise around state capture, that should be a pretty interesting story to follow. Angela Koeberg there live, of course, in Johannesburg.